Subramaniam joins us. Actually, I'm talking to him after a while. Hello. How are the grandchildren?
It just turned one.
Time flies. Time flies. I still remember cherishing the sweets which you'd sent. So, shall we talk stocks for a change? I mean, you've been helping us a lot with personal finance advice, but today it's all about what is happening in Adani group of companies. Without getting into a specific stock advice, let's understand the impact of the news. If you're a fund manager, how would you analyze this news?
So the first thing I would look at is that this is it's an allegation, right? You're innocent until proved guilty should be the thing. Markets tend to overreact on such news, right? So that's the first step, is that to realize that the market panics when such news comes. And so at this point, is that panic on today done, or is tomorrow the panic going to continue? That's a decision to make, number one. Number two, if you see, this is related to a specific green energy project. Now, the entire Adani pack got affected. So I would still say the core business model, the cement company, the port company, those kind of things, I don't think the business models have changed because of this. So I would say that where those valuations, right, were a little bit overvalued because the whole market was overvalued, right? To the extent that the correction is coming there, I would say some fund managers would look at buying those not related to the specific case over a period of the next few days, right? Because they are good, solid operating companies which are just sentimentally getting affected by this particular case, right? The other thing around this is that since this is about the solar and the green, the world's largest green award and all of that, the question around the overall infra on the renewable energy pack, right? Some of the investors would look at it and say, is this going to change things at the ground for the overall renewable energy thing? So there might be some easing of buying on that front, and so there could be good opportunities coming up in those spaces. So overall, I would say that on this particular case, obviously we cannot comment because there has been an allegation. They have responded denying it. Obviously, the political aspects of it are also playing out very strongly. But not to actually the companies which are actually affected by it, I would say you stay away because we still don't know what the ultimate answer is.
It's looking, Sunil, irrespective of today's news development.
No, irrespective of today's development, I would say that the market, I would say, is in for a continued period of volatility for at least another month. I see this based on three things. One is the Trump effect, which is still playing out in terms of a stronger corporate America and hence a tendency to invest back in America away from emerging markets. That's number one. Second is the US inflation numbers plus the economic growth numbers have suddenly thrown cold water on a high rate cut cycle. So there's obviously the Fed chair has reversed stance to some extent. So if interest rates are not going to cut, then you're going to see a stronger dollar, which again going to aid flows out from emerging markets. And the third aspect is geopolitical tensions outside. The Russia-Ukraine as well as the Israel-Hamas, both are refusing to die or close out in any way. There is positivity around Trump trying to come and play peace broker there and solving it. So, but I would say to the extent that it has an impact on oil, it's important to India, right? And the fourth thing is that the FIS selling is, apart from all of these concerns, is also because it's December profit booking time for hedge funds, right? And that will go on till the middle of December because the last 2 weeks of December they'll go off on a holiday. So they need to book cash to receive their bonuses. And they will sell in those markets where they made money. And whatever is said and done, India has been the best performing market other than the US for FIIs. And so they will book profits where they made profits. So I expect this, independent of today's news event, to happen. Then you have I wouldn't call it the cream on the cake, but the fact is that Indian earnings season has been disappointing, right? So that's added to the concerns around overvaluation. Has the correction taken care of the entire overvaluation? Not yet. I think some more volatility and some more readjustment of price is still in the annual. That's why I say till mid-December, I would expect this volatility, perhaps a little more correction to happen. But I see a very different story come January onwards, right? Why do I look at it that way? Because one is, Jan 20th, Trump will actually come. By then, all his announcements, everything will be over. So there will be a sense of stability around America, and the money that has to go into America would have gone in. Second is all this profit booking in December needs to be redeployed in January, right? Because they'll move into cash, they'll move into US securities, and then they'll want to redeploy in the markets of their choice. So India will be a potential target. Third is this slowdown in earnings, right? If you deconstruct that, I would say three reasons behind that. One is the fact is that the government spending, first because of the election, and then post that the government capex has slowed down. So they haven't spent. But I see that in the next 2 quarters, the government spending has to pick up because they will use the budgetary allocations. They have enough fiscal deficit room to be able to spend what they budgeted. So that will lead to a trickle down effect and lead to more order books and better earnings outlook. Second is the actual September quarter earnings did not reflect the Diwali season because Diwali was later in October. So I would believe that some of these numbers, when they come out in the January earnings season, would actually get upgraded from an outlook perspective. So I see that the current downtrend in terms of downgrading the EPS growth for next year would actually get stabilized, and you would have a fresh outlook and perhaps an uptick in the earnings expectation. Then we have also 1st February is the union budget. The union budget is a time for government to lay out its policies, infra, the reforms, and there will be a positive expectation around that. So I do think that an FII reversal in flow would start sometime in January and go on for a month or so. And so the markets would probably recover all of these losses in the first quarter. So I say that expect a heightened degree of volatility for the next month or so. But if you're patient through this period, then I think in January and February, you'll enjoy the rewards of your sticking through your investment process.
Point taken. Let's wait for the month of January. Okay, point taken. That's the view coming in. Naresh, your BTSC trades?
So first would be a buy on Ramco Cements. Momentum continues here. Stop loss at 905, target price of 940. Second is a buy on Power Grid, which has held on strongly in the correction, and today is showing some bit of momentum. Stop loss at 320, target price of 330.
Naresh as well as Kunal for joining us. Sunil, before we let you go, a quick word, a last word as to give me the top 3 sectors that you like right now, or would at least hazard a buy so that when that recovery happens in Jan, you are ready for it.
I think BFSI is my top pick because the bank index hasn't grown as much as the Nifty, but the way forward, if you see, because my other 2 sector picks are discretionary consumption. And discretionary consumption, I believe, has to be supported by bank lending. And at the same time, the per capita rise means that the right-hand side of the bank balance sheet, that's the investment side, the SIP book, the fee income that comes in, is going to support that. And at the same time, I feel that IT as a sector, because with a revival in US corporate, a stronger dollar, all that augurs well for IT companies. So my top 3 sector picks are BFSI, discretionary consumption, and IT.
Okay, so BFSI, discretionary consumption, IT, our Sunil Subramaniam speaks. Mr. Subramaniam, thanks so much for joining us along with Kunal and Naresh. But on that note, let's